Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation. I'm excited to explore with you how colonialism significantly transformed Indian cities. On this first slide, titled Colonial Transformation of Indian Cities, we'll get an overview of the major changes that took place. We'll look at how the British established presidency capitals as new power centers and how traditional trading towns declined under new urban planning and racial segregation. This period marked a profound shift in both the social and spatial dynamics of urban life in India. So, let's dive in and explore these fascinating transformations together. Now, let's look at how smaller towns faced deurbanization during this period. As the focus shifted towards larger cities, many smaller towns saw their populations and trade decline. For example, Surat and Machilipatnam, which were once thriving trade centers, experienced significant setbacks. This decline in their trade activities reflected the broader trend of urban shift happening at that time. Meanwhile, some cities gained prominence as trade and administrative hubs under British rule. Cities like Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras became key British hubs. These cities grew rapidly and played crucial roles in the administration and economy of British India. This shift marked the rise of what we often call the presidency cities. They became the new centers of power, trade, and governance. Overall, this transition from smaller towns to major cities highlights the changing urban landscape and economic priorities during this period, which ties into our overall theme of how colonization reshaped urban development in India. So, in 1911, New Delhi officially became the imperial capital. This marked a significant shift, as the British aimed to create a new administrative center that reflected their imperial ambitions. It's interesting to see how this move was part of the broader story of Delhi's transformation over time. Before this change, Delhi had a rich Mughal history, known for its vibrant cultural life and grand architecture. However, after the revolt of 1857, the Mughal influence was largely erased, and the British took control of Delhi following their victory over the Marathas. This transition from Mughal to British control represents a pivotal moment, illustrating how Delhi's political and cultural landscape was reshaped during this period. The creation of New Delhi was not just about building a new city. It was about symbolizing British authority and marking a new chapter in Delhi's long history. Segregation played a significant role in reinforcing racial hierarchies during this period. It wasn't just about separating people physically. It also maintained social and economic inequalities. When we look at the living conditions, for example, Black neighborhoods often had crowded, less desirable housing. These areas were cramped and lacked many amenities, reflecting the lower social standing assigned to Black residents. In contrast, white areas featured spacious bungalows and well-maintained homes, symbolizing higher social status and privilege. This physical separation wasn't accidental. It was a deliberate way to uphold the social hierarchy. Segregation was deeply intertwined with ideas about race and class, reinforcing a system where white communities enjoyed more resources and better living conditions, while Black communities faced systemic disadvantages. This connection between segregation and social hierarchy is a key part of understanding how racial inequalities were sustained over time. It's a clear example of how spatial arrangements reflected and reinforced broader societal structures. Let's take a moment to look at the contrast between new bungalows and traditional havelis. The new bungalows often showcase modern architectural styles, emphasizing functionality and contemporary design. In contrast, traditional havelis reflect historical and regional craftsmanship, with intricate details and cultural significance. This contrast highlights how architectural styles evolve over time, influenced by changing tastes and social dynamics. Moving on, the slide also points out how railways and roads played a crucial role in controlling movement and resources. These transportation networks weren't just about getting from point A to B. They shaped economic activity, social interaction, and even urban development. They essentially became the arteries of the city, dictating how people and goods moved across regions. Finally, we see the imposing colonial structures that have been built throughout many cities. These buildings often symbolize the colonial influence on urban landscapes. Think of grand government offices, train stations, and administrative centers. They were part of a larger colonial urban planning strategy, which included infrastructure projects designed to control and organize space. All of these elements, new versus old architecture, transportation networks, and colonial structures, are interconnected. They reveal how historical forces, technological advancements, and cultural shifts have collectively shaped the cities we see today. Understanding this contrast helps us appreciate the layered history embedded in urban landscapes. As we move to Slide 6, we see that conflict layers have deepened within the social fabric of the region. This isn't just about surface-level disagreements. It reflects underlying tensions that have become more complex over time. One of the key factors fueling these tensions is the emergence of new conflicts, which often stem from rapid social and demographic changes. For example, cities like Delhi experienced significant demographic shifts, especially around the time of partition. These changes altered the social landscape profoundly, leading to new dynamics between communities. The altered demographics in these urban centers played a crucial role in shaping the evolving conflict. At the heart of this, we also see the massive population exchanges that occurred during the partition of 1947. This was a monumental event, millions of people moving across borders, leaving behind their homes and communities. These exchanges didn't just shift populations, they fundamentally changed the social fabric of cities and regions, leaving a lasting impact on inter-community relations. So, when we look at these layers of conflict, it's important to recognize how demographic shifts and population exchanges are deeply intertwined with the broader narrative of social upheaval and transformation during this period. These factors helped deepen existing tensions and created new challenges that continue to influence the region's social dynamics today. Colonialism's lasting impact on urban landscapes is a theme that really highlights how history continues to shape modern India. As we look at this slide, I want to emphasize how new hierarchies and spaces emerged during the colonial period, creating social and spatial divisions that still influence our cities today. These hierarchies often reflected colonial power structures, but they also laid the groundwork for ongoing social stratification. At the same time, colonialism permanently reshaped urban landscapes. Think about the layout of many Indian cities, the introduction of Western-style architecture, and the development of new commercial and administrative centers. These changes weren't just superficial. They fundamentally altered how cities function and how people interact within them. So, when we consider these points together, it's clear that the legacy of colonialism is woven into the fabric of our urban environments. This history explains why some areas are more developed or privileged than others, and it helps us understand ongoing urban challenges. This connection to the past is crucial as we think about future urban planning and social equity in India.